Hello and welcome to the Knitting Traditions Podcast. My name is Inga and I live on the west coast of Norway, and this is my little corner on the internet where I talk about all things knitting. If you're new here, hello, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, hi, welcome back. So today I'm coming to you from the bedroom at my cabin. And I'm all snuggled up in knits because it's cold in my bedroom. The wooden oven, fire, it's not a fireplace, wooden stove, wooden oven, is in the living room. And yes, I lost my train of thought. I look a bit tired, so excuse that, but I am well rested, not tired at all. I went skiing yesterday, and besides that, all I've done is knit, eat, and sleep. And I'm enjoying a coffee that says on the mug, "Life begins after coffee." And all I've done so far today is have coffee and then set up for this. And every time I set up to record, I end up sitting and just staring at my phone, the camera, all the things that I'm going to talk about for like a good 10 minutes before I press record, because I always am worried that I don't remember how to do this and that it's all weird and awkward. But it seems to be working out, so here we go. I am wearing a lot of knits. I'm wearing my half and half triangles wrap, which is a free pattern from Purl Soho. And I've gotten to wear this a lot more than I thought I would. I'm not a shawl person, but this thing is basically a blanket, and that's what I've been wearing it as. Wrapping it around me at the cabin. I've had it on my lap in the car, on the lap at the cabin as a blanket, and it's just great. And it's knit in linen quil. Do I remember the colors? I've said it on the podcast before. I think this is... I don't remember. It's an oat kind of pale beige grey, and this is green juniper. I think this is green juniper. I knit the largest size, but I also knit it on, I think, larger needles, so I think maybe my gauge is a little bit bigger. So this really is a huge shawl, schlanket. And underneath it, I've been wearing a finished object, but maybe I could just mention this first. This is the watch cap hat, which is a free pattern as well by Purl Soho. Did not intend to wear two Purl Soho objects, but here we are. I'm wearing this because I went skiing yesterday with this hairdo, and I just could not be bothered to shower before this because I'm going skiing after this as well. That's the cabin life. So hence the hat, and also it just makes everything a little bit warmer. And I knit this in Knitcrate Bloom yarn, I think, in the color Forget Me Not. And when you think of Forget Me Not, I think of like a lilac-y purpley blue, but this is oatmeal looking grey, a warm grey. And the main thing of today is my new finished object, and I hope you can see some of the structure in the yoke here. This is the Dandelion pullover or sweater, and this is a pattern by Paula. I think I remember that it's Paula Pereira, but I'll put it below. And this was... I did not use the intended yarn. I often find the yarn in my stash and then I look for patterns for it. So I had some the name of the fingering weight yarn was Harbour in the color Picante by, oh wow, something dye works, and the yarn is Harbour. Murky Depths dye work. The yarn is Harbour, color Picante. That was a superwash merino that I'd had in my stash forever. I had 300-gram skeins, and I did not break into the third ball to finish this sweater. And I held it together with isager silk mohair in like a similar color. And I know that because of that, the laciness and everything kind of disappears a little bit compared to what it would have been in just a non-hairy fiber that would pop more. But honestly, I love how it looks. It's subtle, but you see that something's happening. If you go up close, you can see all the details. The bubbles didn't really pop for me. I tried different types of bubbles, not just the type described how to do it in the pattern, but I don't know, bubbles, I love bubbles, I hate knitting them, and they rarely turn out for me. So if you have like the perfect bubble, please let me know below where I can find instructions for that, because I'm looking for the perfect bubble. So yeah, this, when I had finished the chart for the maybe I can scooch over. When I had finished the chart for all these stuff going on here, I was missing 100 stitches for the medium size. So I knitted this section longer than the pattern to do increases every 2 to 3 rows. And I increased up to the size small, which was I think 70 stitches or something I was missing. So I didn't do 100 extra stitches in this area. And I was wondering if it would look wonky, but I think it looks okay. You can't really see that I messed up. I saved myself. And another thing that I did is this is supposed to have some of this lacy stuff going on down here, and I opted for just a straight sleeve with a 1x1 rib, a long 1x1 rib. I think this is 8 to 10 centimeters long. So I did that on both cuffs just because this is the preferred sleeve of mine. I like straight sleeves with long cuffs and a bit of room down here. I like that. As to the length, I stopped when I thought it was long enough, so it goes past my waist. It hit just at the top of my iliac spine, the upper part of your hip bones. If you palpate your hips, that's where it hits me. Could I have made it longer? Probably. I mean, I have a whole nother skein, so I have the yarn, but I was just sort of done. It was knit on 3.5 millimeters, and I got a bit bored at the end. No fault of the pattern, that just happens to me quite a lot. When it gets close to finishing line, it just loses my interest. But I powered through. It's a great length for dresses and high-waisted jeans, and I don't think I own any jeans or pants that aren't high-waisted, so it's good. It's really warm, and it's not itchy to me at all, not even here, so I'm really happy with this. The isager silk mohair is one of my favorite silk mohairs. I don't find them itchy. It's really nice and soft. And the other yarn being a superwash merino, that doesn't really have a scratch factor either. I really like the color of this. I do prefer my non-superwash yarns, but holding this together with the silk mohair kind of took away the superwash feeling when knitting with it, which is one of the things that I struggle with. So it was nice to knit with. Of course, holding 2 strands double is always a little bit more effort because you gotta be careful you don't drop a stitch. But in the end, it turned out really well, and I'm very happy with how it looks, and I think the fit is good. I would say it's a 0 ease across my shoulders and chest area and upper arms, and then it has some positive ease on the lower arms and around my I'm sitting on my bed, so I have like no way to get up, but it has some positive ease on the body, and it's supposed to be like a little bit boxy, but not super boxy. So I think if I would have made it to the medium, that would have been good for me according to the pattern, but it still fits, it's still good, it's still a little bit boxy on the body, which I like, so all is well. And I need some more coffee. I feel like I'm rambling today, but I just can't wait to get outside in the snow and collect some pine cones. No, not pine cones. Some sort of cones. Is that even what you call it? Anyway, I'm going foraging. My podcast, I'm going to call her a podcasting friend, a friend on Instagram, Alex Juliet. She has the Ancestral Craft podcast. She's from Scotland. She's amazing and a gardener, and she's been dyeing a lot of yarn with things that she's foraged, and I really want to get into that myself. I've been foraging some dried flowers that I've dried through the last summer here, and yesterday I picked up, oh, this is gonna fall if I take it down, but I found on this cone, I found these broken branches while skiing yesterday, a good 5 or 6 kilometers away from my cabin, and I just thought they were so pretty with these little, can you even call them cones? These little things. I don't even know the name of this tree, but I just couldn't help myself. I thought they were pretty and they deserved a prolonged life, so I carried them with me for 5 or 6 kilometers in a hand while I was skiing with the other to get home. But all is good. We came home, all is safe. Nobody fell or broke anything, neither me nor the branches. And Alex told me that those little, we call it kongle, I think pine cones, no. Those little round things that you can dye yarn with them, and you don't need a mortar because it already has it in them. So you just soak it and boil it and then add the yarn after taking them out, and you get like an orangey brown color, and orangey brown color is my jam. So that's what I'm doing today skiing. I'm gonna go and see if I can't find some more of those to dye yarn with. Anyway, I digress. We're here for knitting mostly. I have another finished object. So last time I was knitting on a gift for a friend who had a baby girl, and I used some stash yarn, babyull lanett from Sunnes Garn, and some silk alpaca from Drops. The fingering weight was white colored, and the alpaca silk was pink, and together they made this really cute fabric, which is blowing out a little bit. It's more pink. In the last episode it was more true to color. I'm sitting by a snowy window, so I cast on the Flax sweater, which is a free pattern which goes from newborn to adult large male. I don't know the exact sizes, but you know, big person to little person. So I did that, and this fabric is super stretchy. I made sure to have a big and stretchy neckline to get it over the head. I made the sleeves longer because I think I started out with a 6-month-old size, but I think maybe my gauge is a little bit bigger, so it'll probably fit 6 to 1 year, maybe even bigger because it's so stretchy. So I made the sleeves longer because apparently children grow in length more than width, like we adults do. So I made the sleeves longer so that initially she could wear them with folded up sleeves and then just fold them down as she grows. And I modified the pattern, so instead of doing the ribbing here for the sweater, I did an increase every 10 stitches on every 3 to 4th row, and it created like an A-line shape. So it's a cute dress that I think will fit the baby girl around the time where she can stand up, because this probably isn't very practical for a newborn, and also the hairy fibers of silk mohair or alpaca silk is something that's easy for newborns to inhale and get stuck in their airways, so that's no good. Hence I made the size bigger to the age of the child where it should be more safe to wear something like this, and she can walk around. I imagine her wearing this and like leaning on furniture and walking around, and it's gonna be so cute. But honestly, I have no idea how big babies are, so I'm just gonna give this to her and she's gonna think it's a really nice gift, and then time will tell if it actually can get worn or not. But yes, really cute. And the Flax is a really nice raglan simple sweater pattern that I think I'm gonna make more of in the future. I made it into a dress but maybe I'll make some sweaters in the future. That will save me a lot of time because the skirt was most of the fabric for this, and the Flax sweater has this garter edge going down the sleeve, so I kept that as in the pattern, and this was really just the modification and the length of the sleeves. So yeah, really happy with this cute gift. And again, I still have a finished object that I don't think I can show you yet. I'm waiting for it to be released. So I've done a little bit of knitting since last time. I am trying to make myself knit on this pair of socks in the vandre yarn from Rauma, which is their new sock base that has no nylon, non-superwash. However, I am knitting it on a very small needle to make a dense fabric, and knitting with such a dense fabric isn't very pleasurable, but I know that the result will be really nice, so I'm trying to kind of force myself to work on them a little bit. So since last time I've done a few rows and I've started the heel flap on them. The leg is not going to be super long, but it's going to be super warm. So done a few rows in this yesterday. I'm going to keep making a little bit of progress every now and then. It doesn't take long at all, it's just I'd rather knit on other things, but we'll get there. Comparatively, I cast on another pair of socks yesterday in the morning, and it's already gotten quite a bit further. And this is a lot thinner yarn, a lot more stitches, and yet several weeks, one day. I think it kind of has to do with the stripes. Stripes are addicting. So let's talk about this. This is the first time I'm knitting a hand-dyed sock set that comes with a mini. So this is the set that I got from Stripey Cat Yarns. This is the Hagrid colorway. I also have 2 others from her, and I'm really looking forward to knitting them up. The stripes are so addicting. I've been carrying it on my Twizzter, which has been hanging next to the cold fireplace, and I've been just knitting along on this. Surprisingly enough, usually I would say that this would be probably my favorite color, but honestly in this, what makes me the most happy are the pink stripes. I don't know, it's just a really nice pop of color, and I'm happy every time I get to it. When it comes to socks, the heel is my least favorite because it involves purling, but it's just a small step, and I tried to put in the heel in the middle of the green and pink so it would look kind of symmetrical and supposed to be there. You see, you have the gold above and below with some space between. And because this is a striped yarn, it's going to be really easy to make the second sock exactly the same. I don't have to count rows or anything. I will just knit the same color change and the same before the toe, and we're good to go. And I think I'm gonna have plenty of yarn left after finishing a pair for me, so maybe I can knit another pair to gift. Not sure if I will knit that straight away, because I do have all those other colors that I also really want to see how they knit up. But yes, really fun to knit with this. And this is 100% wool. There is no nylon in this, and it's non-superwash. So this also fits into the natural sock along and the rustic knit along. If anyone hasn't tried Stripey Cat Yarns, she has some beautiful self-striping colorways that are non-superwash, and the yarn has quite a high twist, and I feel like I can really see that in my stitches, but as soon as I wash this, that twist is gonna relax. It's one of the properties that are good to have in a non-superwash yarn you want to use for sock. A high twist makes it more durable. This is her logo, Stripey Cat Yarns, and it's 400 meters per 100 grams in 100% non-superwash British Corriedale sock, and the midi skein is the same. So let's see if I can push this label back into my skein. So yeah, started this yesterday, probably can finish it today if I don't knit on other stuff and get hooked. I have 2 other big whips going on. Maybe I can start with one that you've seen before. So I've been working on the Hush Pants, which is a pattern by Pickles. It really looks like joggers, slouchy pants, and I love them. This uses Cozy yarn by Pickles, which is quite a thick yarn. It's 110 meters per 50 grams. This is the label. It's 68% babyull alpaca, 22% polyamide, and 10% extra fine merino. So this is a chained yarn where they blow the fibers into it. It has pockets, which were almost impossible to understand how to do based on the pattern, which is a negative thing maybe. I usually never have problems understanding patterns, but I could not understand the pockets. I had to email them several times. They did get back to me, so I figured out how to do it in the end, but it's not understandable based on how it's written in the pattern. So just a little bit of a warning there, but if you know how to do pockets, then you could just do it how you do. I haven't knitted a lot of pockets before because I mainly knit sweaters. But I'm really excited to have these pants. I have finished one of the feet, the leg. I finished this yesterday. It has a really long ribbed section at the bottom, and you do decreases for most of the leg. And then I still have the second leg to go. I was knitting these sort of almost two at a time. I knit this one first here, then I knit this one there, and then I finished it yesterday, just because I didn't want to finish one leg and then have to start at the complete beginning of the second leg. Because if you've heard about sleeve island syndrome, I know that I would definitely get stuck on leg island, because it's just so long. I'm knitting this on 6mm needles, so it's not that slow, it's not that many stitches, but it's just, after doing this section, which was a lot of stuff going on and a lot of interest, you kind of lose interest when you're just knitting a really long thing in the round. But I am really excited to have this done. I tried it on yesterday just to see that the length would be okay, and it's so snuggly and warm. So can't wait to wear these on cold days. Just snuggle up in my woolen pants. Someone's skiing outside. And then I have one more whip to show. So I have a lot of cones of yarn in my stash. I love knitting from cones because you don't have ends to weave in, because it's just one several thousand meters long thread of yarn, so unless you break it, you can just keep going. I like to just put it on the floor and then just knit from it. It's super easy. I know I have enough for 1, 2, or more sweaters in a cone. It really depends how you use it. And I've been trying cones from different brands. So right now I have some unnamed Danish cones. I have holst, like this one from Denmark. I have woolenett from the UK, and then I have Knitcrate from Scotland, and I may have ordered some Jameson and Smith after. In the last episode somebody said that was their desert island yarn, and they also have cones, so I wanted to try that. So I did several swatches, which I left at home, with different cones of yarns that I had, paired with different silk mohairs that I had in my stash, just to kind of get an impression of what kind of fabrics I could get and what gauge it gave me. Maybe I can show it in a future episode. I made like a longer swatch with 4 different combinations. And then I saw a pattern on Instagram and it just caught my eye. Like, this pattern is beautiful. I want to make this. I went straight ahead and I bought the pattern. I had the swatch ready for it. I had 2 swatches that were candidates based on the gauge. One of them was this. This is holst supersoft in the color almond. And this is the camarose månestråle in the... Do I have a label? Yes, I do. Camarose månestråle in the color light beige. And this one has gold stellina sparkles in it that never shows up on camera. I've tried taking photos of this and it just will not show up. Maybe there's a little bit of gold sparkle. It's very subtle. You can see it in real life with the light reflecting. It's just tiny gold reflections. So I had that, and then I had a brown cone paired with a more of a rust colored silk mohair, and it was beautiful. And I showed it to my boyfriend and I asked him, so I have this cardigan that I want to cast on, which of these colors should I do? And he instantly picked the light beige, which was almost an insult to me because I love my rust colors. His excuse was that I have a lot of rust colors, so he thought I should make something else. And in the end, I'm really glad I went for this combination, because as a cardigan, it's going to be really nice to wear with everything because it's a neutral, and it's also going to be a really nice color for summer. So the pattern that I had seen and bought was the Anson cardigan, and I don't remember who is the designer. I'll put it below. What I didn't realize when buying this, which I found out when I was casting on, is it has a very limited size range. I'm not a huge person, I'm not a skinny person, I would say normal. My body mass index is in the normal range, and yet still the size that I needed to make is like right in the middle of the size range, so it really doesn't go very high up in sizes, which is a shame because this is a beautiful cardigan and everyone should be able to make it. No idea if they're gonna try and make things more size inclusive in the future, but I do hope they will. This is a raglan cardigan, so you could always just keep doing raglan increases to make it a bigger size. And what I often do if I find that the yoke is becoming too long is that I stop raglan increases and then I just cast on however many stitches they tell you, and the extra stitches that you're still missing underneath here. So that's like a little hack you can do if you want to try making a size bigger than what the pattern will let you. But it does take a bit of mind power to do that. But yes, this is knitting up beautifully. I'm loving how the fabric is turning out. I finished the top part, so I got the sleeves and the body left, and then a band which are gonna have the button band. I've got the button band left, and I don't know, you can probably still not see the gold sparkle, but there is a bit of gold sparkle in here. Just trust me on that. When I wash it, the holst yarn fluffs up quite a bit, and also this becomes more hairy, so the structure of the stitch is pretty much gonna disappear. And it's gonna be really, really warm, but soft. It's not soft as this one. It has more of a tactile feel to it, but not in an itchy way. It's really nice. And this cardigan is gonna have buttons, and then it's gonna have like a tie mechanism at the bottom, which is what sold me. I love when you can tie things at the waist, sweaters and tops, etc. So now I'm gonna have a knitted garment where I can do that. So that is honestly what sold me on this. It's a lot of purling. The only part of this which is not going to be purling is the sleeves. I usually don't look forward to the sleeves, but on this I am looking forward to the sleeves because that will give me a break from purling. So I knit pretty intensively on this for several days, and then I put it aside just to work a bit on the pants and socks up here. But I'm gonna keep on working on it a little bit now and then just to get through those purl rows, and hopefully I have enough yarn. If not, I need to go to the store to get more, because I bought this up here at the cabin, like a 30-40 minutes drive away from here. So if I need more, I should get more when I'm here. So maybe I should knit on this now so I can see how that all turns out. So yeah, that was the Anson cardigan. And then I have some acquisitions to show you, so if that's not your cup of tea, I will see you next time. And if you do like to see acquisitions, I have some yarn, and then I also have a needle binder folder thing to show, which is beautiful. So maybe first I can start with some yarn that I was sent. A man named Devon Reed, who is a farmer from the UK, produces some of his own wool. He sells his own yarn that he gets spun up. He also spins yarn, hand spun, which he sells. And you can also get fleeces and scoured wool and carded wool from him. He has this online blog. I'll put the information below, and on the blog he has information about what things he has for sale. He also makes spindles that he sells. And he asked me if I would like to try some of his yarn, and I would love to. This is like a true proper small business. He raises the sheeps, he does everything himself, and then he sells them. The yarn is what he sent to me because I do have some fleeces and stuff that I have done myself. I prefer knitting over spinning, so he offered to send me some wool to try. So his yarn is what you could call chunky double knit, and I think it's 150 meters per 100 grams, and he sent me these 3 100-gram balls. So he acid dyes them himself. I think he has 12 different colors that you could get from him, and I got these because I thought they were just so lovely. This would make some really nice Easter mittens or something. So I'm gonna see what I can make up with this. He also sent me this huge cone of undyed wool or yarn. So this is the same, the double knit chunky, and I mean, he is a local farmer, so what he produces is limited. So if you want to try some really nice rustic minimally processed yarn that you know has gone from the sheep to finished yarn in a small local area, then this is really good and very affordable. I think he sells this kilo for £20, which is such a good price. You could get a sweater out of this for £20, which is amazing. So I'll put his information below. I love supporting small businesses, and I think what he does is great, and he deserves some attention. He's also on Facebook and website, but the blog is where I have found most of the information, so that's where I would go. And it's called the Green Hill Woolen Craft, but I will link it below so you can find it. Other acquisitions since last time is I got another Knitcrate box, and I'm an affiliate member of Knitcrate, so every month they send me 2 skeins of their monthly subscription, and I show it here. So just to be clear about that. And if anyone buys any product of theirs using my link or my coupon code, I get a little bit of money, just to be open about it. And this is a beautiful color that I received. A lot of the colors that I've gotten has been neutrals, so every month they do a review where you see what yarn is the month's yarn, but you can't choose the colorway you get. That's sort of a surprise. And this is the Audine Wool's flannel base in the color Buffalo. This is 47% Surrey alpaca, 38% alpaca wool, 15% non-superwash merino wool, and it's a DK weight, so it's 211 meters per 100 grams. And so far everything that I have gotten has been non-superwash and really lovely luxury fibers, and so soft, always so soft. And I'm really liking this color. It reminds me of wine, red wine. That's what this looks like to me. And I think this would make a really nice cowl. So I might just make that with this. It would also make a really nice hat. I'm really happy with this color. Pleasantly surprised. I love all the neutrals. Neutrals are always safe. I know what to do with them, like this. But I just thought this was a stunning colorway. It has a lot of depth to it. And it feels like flannel. It's really soft. And they always send patterns for the month's yarn. So this month's free pattern, they send both knitting and crochet. So it looks like socks and some sort of scarf thingy. I've never knit the patterns that they send with it because I always go rogue. I'm in it for the yarn. And this month I also got a little lipstick, which was delicious. Winter mint and marshmallow. Usually marshmallow is a bit too sweet for me, but this was a nice flavor. I have two more acquisitions. One I was gifted to try and one that I have bought myself. So I'm going to start with what I was gifted to try. So, Aya Fibers, which is a company in, I think it's Germany, if I'm not completely wrong. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's German because the card that she sent with it is both in English and German. I took German in high school, so I know how to read a little bit of German. Mostly I've forgotten most of it. If you don't use it, you forget it, right? So this is Aya Fibers. She is based in Germany, and she uses, she focuses on sort of a cruelty-free process of hand dyeing yarn. It's hand dyed yarns that are high quality, ethically produced, and there's no animal suffering. It's guaranteed to be 100% free from I always struggle. I always read this word and even inside my brain I don't know how to pronounce it, but it, see, I don't even know how to start. Mulesing? Sorry, I'll write it. And she sends me 3 of her non-superwash bases to try. And here they are. Her store is called Aya Fibers. It's hand dyed in Germany. It even says it on this label. So she sent me 3 of her non-superwash bases to try, and I can't wait to try them. I wish I had a sweater's quantity of all because they're so stunning, but I'm gonna make something really nice with all of them. So this first one, this right here, this is the color Straw Flower, and this was from the Advent calendar in 2021. It's 85% lamb's wool and 15% linen, and it's 400 meters, 4-ply, non-superwash. I just thought this is just a beautiful, beautiful straw colored yarn. And this I think would make a really nice summer top if I can find a pattern to squeeze out of one skein. I might have one in mind from Jessie Made, but we shall see. I think a wool linen blend is a really nice blend for summer. It's not as soft as the other because of the linen, but I think the linen will soften up with washing and wear. So I think this is gonna be stunning. And then this color, I love this color. This is her Luxe base. It's a non-superwash. in the color Rust. This is the Luxe High Twist, which is 100% fine merino non-superwash, 20.5 micron, and it's 365 meters, and it's a 2-ply fingering weight. And it's a beautiful, beautiful yarn. It's so soft, honestly. It has the softness that you can compare to the like a superwash merino, but without that feeling of superwash. It's just even softer and rounder. Yes. So this might just become a hat, or maybe so Jessie Maid has one of these tops which are like a ribbed top, which I could use as a bralette. I'm not sure if I could use a fingering weight for that. I have to check that, but this would make a really nice top, so I could wear it all the time, and it would be really nice next to skin. And then this one right here, which has some lovely variations. This is the Luxe Worsted in the color Purist. It's also 100% fine merino organic, non-superwash, the same micron count, 20.5, and this is 225 meters of 4-ply. And this is probably the softest to the touch out of all the three. It's so soft and squishy. This would probably make a really nice hat or cowl, because the thicker the yarn, the less meterage you have, so the smaller the object you can make. So this could probably get me a top, while this would probably not be enough for that, but it would be a really nice soft hat. So I think hat or cowl, that's what I'm gonna make with it. And she also sent me this beautiful little stitch marker, a snowflake with some beads on it, and I had to restrain myself. I was so close to putting it on my whip already because I thought it would look really nice together, but I wanted to show it to you first in all its glory, and now I can use it. And let's see. I have one last acquisitions to show, and it's a big one. Oh, actually I have two. I went to the store to get some extra needles that I needed, and I saw that they had this thing in their store. This is a needle gauge thing. I did not need it for that, but this has sizes for feet. It's European shoe sizes. It says it's a sock ruler made in the EU that they sold in my local yarn store. So I think the idea is you knit your sock, and then you put this in from the heel to whatever sew, and I'm not I don't know. Are you supposed to just hold it in there, or are you supposed to stretch your sock to see how far it goes? I don't know. But I figured hopefully this will be a nice tool for men's sizes, which I find really hard to estimate, but we shall see. We shall see. Then the thing that I wanted to show is this huge thing right here, which is bigger than my head. I bought this for myself for Christmas. It was quite an investment. This is not cheap. This was a pre-order that I bought from Thread and Maple in Canada. I saw it and it was beautiful, and I saved up for it and I got it. This is a leather needle case binder, and I got the largest one. So on the website you can order the medium or the large of these outer cases, and then you open it up here, and inside you add these things, right? So you buy every single one of these separately. I got the large which fits 7 of these, but it's quite expensive. Each and every one costs quite a bit in addition to the outer case. But what I will say is that each and every one of these fits, I can show you, fits different things. So I got one for circular needles, and here I keep my 30 centimeter circular needles, which I have from 2 millimeters to 4.5 millimeters. So they're 30 centimeters long. That means they're not 9-inch, but closer to 12-inch. And that's what I use for socks and sleeves, because the tips are long on both sides, because I need to be able to hold them in my hands. Those with a shorter tip, that just does not work for me. It's painful in my hands. I think I have one of those, and I'll avoid using it if I can. So this is leather, meaning it will get a really nice patina over time. And then I have one for my licken needles. And one of the main reasons I really wanted this is to get organized, because my needles are everywhere. I have different sets and they're all missing some needles and I don't know where they are. So I figured this would be a nice way to find things and put them in one place and have them all together. Because I'm often knitting several projects that might use the same needle at the same time, so then I have others to choose from. Here I have my Knitcrate, and then I have my small haya sharps that I bought in Japan, and then I have a complete haya set here, the big and the small, which I was gifted from haya to try. And then here are gonna be my Chow Goose minis, which are the tiny ones that goes from, oh, this is not what I thought it was. Here it says from 1.5 millimeters to 2.75 millimeters. Is that the size that I have? Maybe it is. I thought I even had 1 millimeter, but that probably doesn't even exist. So this is probably right. And then in the back, this is the part of the folder, and I've just put some of my carbons in here. But you don't, I mean, this is huge, right? This is not going to be something I throw in my purse to go knitting at the cafe. This weighs several kilos, I think. It's quite substantial. But you can just pop it open, and then you can take out these little inside folders. You can take them out, and I think you can sort of take off these clasps and then clasp them the other way. And you have a miniature leather folder with now all my small circulars. So I could take this out and just throw them in my project bag with my sock yarn, and then I'm good to go. And then when I come home from my travels, I can just put it back the way that it's supposed to. And I think also in here they have some instructions on how to put them probably together like this, so that it can stand on its own. I don't see the need to make my needle case stand on its own. But you know, the option is there. And then when I get home, I can just put it back into my needle case. So, what I would do if I didn't have the money that I had saved up to get myself this is maybe I would just have bought the inside linings, the different pockets for the different needles, and not the whole case thing, to save some money. because not everyone has the ridiculous amount of needles that I do. So maybe you just need something for your circulars or something for your Addy set, and then you can get 2 of those and you don't need to get the whole thing. They also have a smaller size that fits 5 inside pockets or linings, and I got the biggest one. But I'm really happy with this buy. It was a huge investment, but it is so pretty. So this is gonna probably be like a lying on my coffee table or underneath my coffee table. I have everything in one place, and then I can just take the inside linings with me when I go traveling because they're so pretty. And also I find that a lot of my sets, not the liquor came in like a nice case where everything stuck in place, because it had similar like these. They really nice. They say, oh, you can. They also have like what are these called? Velcro. So I could just take that out and put this in my bag, and it weighs nothing. But yes. But my Knit Pro. My Knit Pro set came in a box, so that wasn't very portable. So now I finally have a nice system for those. Also, my Hayas and my Chow-goos kept falling out of the cases that they came in, so now they're nice and stuck in here and shown in all its glory. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. It's gonna be a very handy addition in my mess of yarny and supply world. So yes, thread and maple, that's where I got those. It's beautiful. I really like it. And I think that was all the stuff for this time. It's a long one. I hope the microphone is on. So now I am gonna put on even more wool and I'm gonna go skiing. I hate to freeze, so I always have like 3 layers and everyone thinks I'm silly, but I'd rather be warm than cold. So that's my plan for today. Go skiing, eat some good food. I am making some chicken wraps with feta cheese and guacamole, coriander and pickled red onions. It's delicious, trust me. And yes, that's what I'm up to. Just enjoying some days off. I hope that you are well. I hope that you're finding joy in your days and the little moments, and that you get some crafting done, and I will see you next time.